All right, we're going to start today having a seat on our mats. So just find a nice comfortable spot, whether that's feet crossed, legs out, feet on the ground. Just let the hands rest wherever's comfortable. And we'll start to close the eyes. Start to focus on the breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Feeling that air move in through the body. Filling all the spaces in the lungs. And then feeling it leave the body with each exhale. Taking this time to allow the breath to start to clear the mind. Start to let the day go. Start to bring ourselves into our rooms and onto our mats. Taking these next few minutes for those breaths, getting comfortable with it, and starting to recognize how it makes us feel. We'll take a couple more breaths here. And then we'll slowly start to let the chin fall to the chest. Stretching the back of the neck out. And then slowly start to roll the head from side to side. Taking our time here, moving through all the little kinks in the neck. And the next time we get to that right shoulder, holding that head over that right shoulder. And if we want, we can take the left hand, place it down by the side, trying to reach that floor, giving it just a little bit more stretch in that neck. Take a few deep breaths. And then we'll take that left hand, place it back in the mat and the lap, and then roll that head over to that left side, holding it over that left shoulder. And then taking that right hand, placing it down by the side, adding that little extra stretch to the side of that neck. And then we'll take that hand, place it back in the lap, let the head fall center, holding it here. If we want to add a little bit extra stretch to the back of the neck, we can take the hands, interlace them behind the head, and then slowly let those hands kind of rest on the back of the skull, opening those elbows out wide, and then slowly bringing those elbows in towards the face. Just adding that extra weight, only if it's comfortable. And then we'll slowly unlock those hands, bring them down back into the lap. Slowly lift the head back up We're gonna stop center for just a second and then inhale and lift the chin up to the sky, stretching out the front of that neck. And then slowly bring that head back forward. We'll bring the hands down by the sides and we'll inhale, bring those arms up. And as we exhale, we're going to twist to that left side. So as we twist, bring those arms down. Let that right hand come on the outside of that knee. That left hand coming as far back behind us as we can go. And just looking over that back shoulder if it's comfortable, or just over at the side wall. Take a few deep breaths. And on that next inhale, bring yourselves back forward. Bring those arms back up. And as we exhale, going over to that right side, dropping those arms down. Again, bringing that gaze either over that back shoulder or just at the side, whatever's comfortable on that neck right now. Taking a few breaths. And on the next inhale, coming back forward, bringing those arms back up. And on this exhale, taking the left hand, dropping it down, and then just kind of rotating over that left side. Getting a nice stretch down that right side body, opening up those ribs, feeling all the spaces stretch out. And on our next inhale, coming back up, bringing that left arm back up. And on that exhale, dropping that right arm down and folding over that right side. Feeling that stretch all the way down that left side. And take a few deep breaths. And then on the next inhale, bring ourselves back up. And exhale those arms down. We'll slowly make our way onto our hands and our knees. And take a second here, line up those wrists, right over the shoulders. And we'll quickly line up those knees under those hips. We're going to tuck the toes behind us and then push the weight into those toes, lifting those hips up towards the sky, coming into a down dog. And feel free to pedal those feet out right here. Taking our time, maybe holding one heel down a little bit longer than the other, stretching out the backs of those legs. And then letting those feet come into stillness, taking a breath. And on that next inhale, walk the feet up to the hands. Folding over the legs, putting a nice bend in those knees. Taking the hands, placing them on the thigh, and slowly roll ourselves all the way up. Stacking those vertebrae. And bring that head up and then roll those shoulders down the back. Let the hands come to the side. Close the eyes. Take a deep inhale. And exhale it out. Open those eyes back up. And we'll inhale, lift those arms up to the sky, hands together. And exhale, swan dive ourselves forward over the legs. Inhale, coming to a half lift, sliding those hands right under those knees. Exhale, coming all the way down. Inhale, step the feet back to a high plank or dropping onto our knees. Exhale, come all the way onto the mat. Inhale, just lifting that chest. Exhale, down. Inhale, pushing back to our down dog. We can pass through all fours here and come up to that down dog. Taking a breath. And on that next inhale, walk the feet up to the hands. Folding ourselves over the legs. And inhaling all the way up. Bringing the arms with us. Exhaling them down. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan diving over those legs. Inhale, half lift, sliding the hands right under the knees. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back to that high plank or onto those knees. Exhale, coming all the way down. Inhale, just lift that chest. Exhale, down. Inhale, pushing back to our down dog. Taking that breath here. And on that next inhale, walk those feet up to those hands. Pulling over the legs. And inhaling all the way up. Bring those arms. Exhaling them down. We'll do that one more time. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan dive ourselves forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back to that high plank or dropping onto the knees. Inhale, coming all the way down. Inhale, lifting that chest. Exhale, down. Inhale, push back to that down dog. Taking a couple breaths here. And on that next inhale, walk those feet up to those hands. Folding ourselves over the legs. And inhale all the way up. Exhaling those arms down. We're going to go into a couple balance poses here so we can release those hands. So we'll let those hands kind of float out to the side, allowing us to get our balance as we just move through these couple poses here. So finding that spot on the floor in front of us that's not moving, that we can focus on throughout the balance. So we'll start with our right leg being our planted foot here. So we're slowly going to lift up those left toes, bringing that foot all the way up off the mat. The knee is going to come to the chest. And then we're going to open that leg out to the side. Take that foot, either place it on the calf, we can place it on that inner thigh, or if our balance is a little all over the place today, we can take that foot, place it on that ankle with the toes tapping onto the ground. When we feel that we have our balance here, We'll bring those arms up. Those arms are nice and wide, coming straight out of those shoulder sockets. So we're not up and down, we're out wide here. Those hips are opening up nice and wide. Taking a few breaths. And we'll release the foot. We're just gonna stand, keep those arms up if we can. Bring that knee forward. And we're just gonna hold this just with the knee up here. We can flex the foot or point it down or just kind of let it flop around. Whatever's comfortable. So I'm gonna switch my position, but hold your pose there. So I'm gonna come here, so bring that knee up. We're gonna, if we can, start to shift the foot back, stepping into a high lunge here. Dropping that foot down onto the mat. Keeping those arms up. And in our high lunge, we want to make sure our feet are on those railroad tracks so they're parallel with each other. So those feet aren't directly behind each other. So we'll stay right here. We'll not add our back bend today, unless you really want to. Just a reminder, if you are adding that back bend, to engage those abs, helping to take a little bit of the pressure off that lower back. And we'll hold this for a few more breaths. And we'll slowly, as we exhale, start to bring the hands down onto the ground. And step that back foot forward, folding ourselves over the legs. And as we're in this fold, start to toe heel those feet. So they're about hip distance to shoulder distance apart. And we'll move into our chair pose here. So we're slowly going to start to sink our hips down as if we're going to sit into a chair. And then start to bring the upper body up, swinging those arms around and forward. So the gaze is straight ahead. We're tucking those tailbones in. All the weight is in the heel of the feet. So we're light on the toes. I'm taking deep breaths here. And as we inhale, start to pop ourselves up. I'm gonna shift, you guys stay there. We're gonna do one more pose. So we're gonna keep the arms out, one more balance pose, keeping that left leg as our plant foot. So we're gonna keep those arms out kind of nice and wide here so they're not straight up and down. And we're slowly gonna start to lift, instead of bringing the toes forward, we're gonna start to angle ourselves kind of to that left side, lifting that right foot up, kind of out to the side. Only going as far as is comfortable. If we need to find that spot and just kind of tap those toes on the mat, we can do that. And as we kind of move over, if the arms start to widen, that's okay. We'll hold it for one more breath here. And then slowly shift ourselves back forward. Exhale, drop those arms down and shake everything out. Shake the legs, shake the arms. And we'll move on to that other side. So again, finding that kind of balance point with those hands, letting them flutter out. Finding that spot on the floor in front of us that's not moving. And this time that right leg is planted onto the mat. So slowly rolling up those left toes. Bringing that foot off the mat. I feel like we're doing the same side. Sorry, keeping the left foot planted. I may have mixed you all up. So if we're doing that, do the opposite side of what we did last time. All right, so start to roll those toes up. Bringing the knee into that chest. And then start to open that leg out to the side. Taking that foot, either planting it on that calf, on that inner thigh. Or again, we can take it on that heel with those toes just planted on the ground. And when we have that balance, bring those arms up. Again, we're kind of keeping those arms wide throughout our balances instead of just straight up and down. So try to remember that. Those hips are nice and open. We'll hold it for a couple more breaths here. And then we'll move to that other balance. So if we can, we'll release that foot. Shift that leg forward, bring that knee up. Again, if you want to flex the foot, point the toes down, or just kind of let that foot hang, feel free. You keep the pose. I'm going to come to the front of my mat. And if we can, we'll slowly start to shift that foot back, kicking that back leg long on the mat, dropping those toes down. Again, those feet are parallel on the mat. So we're kind of on those railroad tracks, keeping those arms up, taking those deep breaths. Again, you're more than welcome to add the back bend to this. Just make sure you engage those abs. If not, we'll just stay straight up and down here. Taking a couple more breaths here. And then on that exhale, start to fold ourselves over that front leg, dropping the hands down onto the mat. And stepping that back leg forward, folding ourselves over the legs. And while we're in this fold, taking the opportunity to toe heel those feet out to that hip distance. And we'll go into our chair pose on this side. So slowly start to sink those hips down. And as we sink down, start to swing those arms up, tucking that tailbone in, weights in the heels, and light on those toes. And take those deep breaths. And on that next inhale, popping ourselves back up to standing, keeping those arms nice and wide. And we'll move to that balance on that other side. So slowly starting to kind of shift ourselves over, lifting up that left leg. Again, that foot doesn't have to be very high up. We can have it kind of tapping on the mat to help with that balance. And if the arms start to open up as we kind of shift over, that's okay. We'll hold it for a couple breaths here. And then as we exhale, start to shift ourselves back down. Release those arms and shake it all out. And coming to the top of our mats, if we're not there, we'll inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale to that swan dive over the legs. We're gonna inhale, half lifting, sliding the hands right under the knees. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, step back to a plank or onto the knees. So from here, we're gonna move through a couple different plank positions. So we're gonna hold this for a little bit. So if at any point you need to drop to the knees, feel free. So we'll hold this for a breath. And then we're gonna start to shift to a side plank on our right side. So if we're gonna stay off of our knees, we'll start to just roll the feet. So we're on the sides, bringing the arm up. If we are on our knee, we can drop the right knee down and angle that foot off to the side. Start to roll down and then also bring ourselves up. Couple options here. Holding it for just a breath. And then exhale, roll that left arm back down, rolling back up on those toes or onto both knees. Holding this for a breath. And we're gonna move on to that other side. So again, if we wanna stay off the knees, we'll just roll the hips and roll those feet. Bringing that right arm up to the sky. Or if we're on the knee, we drop that left knee down, roll that foot out to the side, and then come up onto those back toes. Whatever version is comfortable for you. Holding it for just a breath. Exhale back down. Holding this for a breath. And dropping to the knees. Big toes together. Sink those hips down. Forehead to the mat. If those arms need a little bit of a break, you can take them, drop them down by the sides. And take those deep breaths. Using this opportunity to catch the breath if we've lost it. Refocusing on it. Refocusing on our practice. We'll take just a couple more breaths. And if those hands are down by the sides, we'll take them, walking them out in front of us on the mat. Come up to those hands and those knees. And place those toes on the mat. Lift those hips up to the sky. Coming into that down dog. We'll take a couple breaths here. And on our next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg up with a bend in the knee. As we exhale, start to bring that knee forward to the chest. Drop that foot between those thumbs. Dropping down onto that back knee. Untuck those toes. Take the hands, place them up on that thigh, giving ourselves a little assist up. And then if we need to, adjusting that front leg. So we want that knee over that ankle. And we're sinking into that hip. So we're not straight up and down at 90 degrees here. We're almost kind of at a whatever degree that is. I'm not very good at math. So. And then from here, inhale the arms up. And we will add the back bend here if it's comfortable. If not, we'll just stay up and down. If we want to add that back bend, we'll bring those hands together at the top, point our fingers together, holding those other fingers down. Gaze going up towards the sky, and slowly starting to shift that upper body back. Engaging those abs here. Taking those deep breaths. And then slowly starting to shift ourselves back up and down. Exhale and release the hands and come down onto the mat. We'll start to shift the hips back, straightening that front leg, coming up to that heel and stretching ourselves over that front leg. Trying not to arch the back down here, so we're trying to keep some length in that back. Feeling the stretch all the way down the back of that leg. Taking deep breaths, allowing that leg to release. And as we inhale, kind of bringing ourselves back up onto that foot. Coming back up, and I'm gonna shift for you guys. So right now we are at the 90 degrees. We can get there with those knees on both. So you're gonna take that front leg, walk it out to the side. So we have that leg as straight as we can get it, and we can point those toes kind of straight out in front of us. I think that would be a little bit more comfortable than angling over to the side. We're gonna inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, let the arm on the same side as that straighten leg come down with the palm facing up, resting on that, yes, whatever that is. And then as we exhale, start to fold over that leg. I'm struggling with words today. So going as deep as is comfortable, feeling the stretch in that inner thigh as well as down the side of that body. And inhale, come all the way up, bring that arm up. This time we will kind of rotate that foot, and we're going to go into a little bit of a balance on this other side. So we're going to exhale, start to drop that left arm down, coming down onto the mat, and trying to pop that right leg up. And then we'll straighten the right arm so the shoulders are stacked. So that foot, if our balance isn't there, we can just keep it tapped on the mat, or we can try to keep it up with that foot flex forward. And the gaze can be up at that hand, at the side, or down at the lower hand, whatever's comfortable on that neck. Hold it for one more breath. And exhale, drop that leg down. Kind of push ourselves up. And then we'll bring that leg in. Come down onto our hands, coming on our hands and knees here. And then tucking those toes, coming into a down dog. And feel free to shake that right leg out if you want to, or shake the left leg out, or pedal those feet up and down. And we'll take a couple breaths here. And on that next inhale, lifting the left leg this time with a bend in that knee. As we exhale, start to shift that knee forward, dropping it between those thumbs. And then exhale, dropping down on that back knee, untucking those toes. Taking the hands on that thigh, giving ourselves that little assist up. And shifting that foot if we need to, now that we're up in our kneeling position. So again, we're not at that 90 degrees on both legs here. So we're kind of sitting into that front hip. So we're feeling a stretch all the way down that right side. And that front knee is right over that ankle. So we'll inhale, bring those arms up. And adding that back bend, if it's there for us, we'll take the hands, bring them together. Keeping those pointer fingers up towards the sky. Bringing that gaze up and slowly shifting that upper body back. Taking those deep breaths, engaging those abs. And slowly starting to bring ourselves back forward. Release those hands. Exhale them down over the mat. And slowly start to shift those hips back. Straightening that front leg, coming up onto that heel. And folding ourselves over that leg. Again, trying to keep the length in the back here so we don't want to round ourselves over the leg. Feeling the stretch all down the back of the leg here. Holding it for a few breaths. And then we'll start to bring that front leg to a bend. Coming up one more time. Again, we're kind of at that 90 degrees now, which is okay. I'll shift over for you guys. So we're going to take that front leg, bringing it out to the side. Again, pointing those toes. We can't, I apologize for not mentioning it on the first side. But if the toes don't all the way down on the mat, that's okay. It's whatever's comfortable on that ankle. So we'll inhale the arms up. Exhale, start to shift over that left side, dropping that left arm down. So that palm's facing up towards the sky. Again, the gaze can be up at the ceiling, at the side, or kind of down at that palm. Whatever's comfortable on the neck. Feeling the stretch again on that inner thigh and all down that side body. And on that next inhale, coming back up. Bring both arms up, and we'll rotate that foot so it's parallel with the mat. And this time, as we exhale, dropping that right hand down onto the mat. Bringing that left foot up, shooting that left arm straight up so those shoulders are stacked. Again, that left foot, if it's just kind of tapping onto the mat, that's okay. Or if we have it up, we have those toes pointed forward. That gaze is either at the side, down at the hand, or up at the hand. Taking those deep breaths. Holding it for just one more breath here. And exhale, bringing that foot down, kind of popping ourselves back up. Bring those arms down, bring that knee in. We'll take the hands, place them on the mat, tuck those big toes together, sink those hips down, drop that forehead to the mat. And take those deep breaths. Taking this time, we're going to start to wind ourselves down from our practice. Still catching the breath here if we've lost it. And trying to refocus on that breath. And on our next inhale, coming up to our hands and our knees. And slowly making our way to have a seat on our mat. We'll take those feet together in front of us. And a rock side to side so we're up on those sit bones. Take a deep inhale. And as we exhale, start to fold over those legs. Trying to keep the length in the back. So if we feel that we're arching our upper body forward, just coming out of that stretch just a little bit. And take those deep breaths. Allowing those legs to just fall naturally down to the mat. And take those hands, place them on the floor. Slowly start to give ourselves a little push up. We'll take those hands under those knees, give those legs a little help. Taking the right foot straight out in front of us. We'll take the left leg, crossing it over so that foot is about on the outside of that knee or wherever's comfortable. Sitting up nice and tall, taking a deep inhale. And as we exhale, start to twist the upper body towards that bent knee. Bring that right arm alongside that leg. That opposite arm going behind us. Gaze over that back shoulder. And take those deep breaths. And we'll slowly start to bring ourselves back forward. Uncross those legs. Bringing that right leg up this time. And taking that foot, crossing it over, placing it on the outside of that knee. Sitting up nice and tall. Taking a deep inhale. And as we exhale, starting to shift that upper body towards that bent knee, taking that left arm alongside the leg, back arm back behind us, gaze over the back shoulder. And taking those deep breaths here. And slowly bringing ourselves back forward. We'll uncross that leg and slowly start to make our way all the way down onto our mats. We'll take the feet nice and wide on the mat and let the hands just kind of rest out by the sides, and then let those legs fall down to each side. Taking your time, moving between each side of the legs, maybe holding one side a little bit longer, allowing those hips to stretch, those legs to stretch. And we'll bring those legs back up. I'm gonna walk those feet so they're back center. And then lift those legs up so those knees are right over those hips and they're pointing straight up to the sky. And we're gonna start to draw some circles with those knees. Going as big or as small as is comfortable. Or as fast as is slow. Feeling a nice little massage on the sacrum. And then switch that direction. And then bring those knees back center. Let's take the feet, place them on the mat. Give ourselves a little rest here. And then bring those knees back up and straighten those legs as much as we can. If we have a bend in the knees, that's okay. We're gonna take the hands, slide them, or place them on the thighs, and then slowly start to slide them up the legs, starting to bring the head up just as far as we can go. And then slowly dropping back down. And we'll do it one more time, sliding those hands up, bring that head up, and slide back down. We'll take the hands, place them down on the mat again. Point and flex those toes. Circle those ankles. And point and flex. And then let those feet come to stillness, bending those knees, bringing the knees into the chest. Taking a hold of the legs, we're going to do one big stretch here, hugging those knees to the chest, forehead to the knees, and then letting it come down onto the mat. Dropping those legs all the way down. Taking those arms up overhead, doing one final stretch. So stretch those arms all the way up, stretch those legs all the way down, just like we're waking up in the morning. Full body stretch, and then releasing it all to the mat. letting those legs fall to wherever's comfortable. Bring those arms down alongside the body. Start to close the eyes. Starting to refocus on the breath. Noticing it move in through the lungs, down through the hands, down to the toes, and then feeling it leave the body on that same path with each exhale. Taking this time to try to clear the mind of any thoughts we might have, any tension we might be holding in that body. Just feeling it go with each exhale, allowing us to sink deeper and deeper into our mats. If you find that a thought starts to enter your mind, or maybe you're just having a tough time letting those thoughts go, just try focusing on that breath, maybe counting each inhale or each exhale. Remembering these next few minutes are your time to not have to worry about anything, to not have to think about anything, to just be here on your mat. Start to bring a little life back into your body by wiggling your fingers and toes. Roll your wrists and ankles. Rock your head from side to side. And begin to deepen your inhales and exhales. When you feel ready, slowly take one foot, place it on the mat, and follow it by the other foot. And then bring one knee into the chest, followed by the other, taking hold of those knees and slowly rocking side to side. And when you feel ready, rolling onto your right side. With your right side grounded by the earth, leaving your left side open to the sun, the moon, and the stars, and all the gifts the universe has to offer you today. When you feel ready, come up to a comfortable seated position. We'll take the hands in front of the heart, close the eyes one last time. Take a deep inhale and exhale it all out. Thank you for sharing your practice with me this evening. I hope that you have a great rest of your night and a very happy new year. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.